Hey there and hello. Welcome to another episode of Dads That Try. I brought a good friend in today. Not only is he a good friend, but a man and a father, Chad. Thank you for being here today. I really appreciate you taking time to swing by and hang out with me. You doing all right today?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
So, Chad, I've known you for several years. I know you in the capacity as a student while you were in high school and I was teaching. That's kind of where we first met. And then from there, we worked together supporting IT systems. And, thinking back to those glorious days of high school, what's your best memory?
Going to state competitions and
Oh,
doing
yeah.
all that fun stuff.
Those always great trips. So, what was special about that for you? What did you enjoy the most?
I guess just getting to go and hang out with all the friends and still do some of the computer stuff that I really enjoy doing and learning more about it and seeing everybody from all the other schools come and do the same thing.
I think it's just awesome, getting to get to a place where you get to focus on your trade, but at the same time you're being challenged. And you and I are both very aware that it's the food that makes it worth going on those trips.
You're not wrong.
Going back, so yeah, the State Skills USA trip, just an awesome way for students to get to meet different business and industry partners, as well as teachers get to connect with other teachers across the state and across the country. When I was leading a classroom as an instructor, it can be very rewarding, but it can also be challenging. I do remember when you came to class that I do not really recall. And, sometimes we forget the negative things that's happened in our life, but I'm somebody that clings to positive memories. You never came to class. There was not a time that you come to class that you did not give 110%. That was something very rare among kids in high school age. And, you always showed up with an attitude of willing to learn, wanting to do something, just wanting to do more. And I always think that's very cool. Do you ever reminisce about your days in high school and think about something you would do differently?
Not really, no. I never wanted to do anything different, but I always enjoyed your class more than all of them. It was just, I found my niche that I like to do. I realized I wanted to do that as a career, so I just put everything into it.
Yeah, that definitely shows. You've worked with different companies in different capacities, different jobs and responsibilities. And do you feel like each one kind of helped prepare you for the next?
It all kind of builded on top of each other. In the different environments that I worked in, it was one job taught you a little bit of this, the next job taught you a little bit of that. It's like it prepared me, but at the same time, you struggle a little bit for the first month.
Yeah.
But that's just a new job.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes that first month struggle goes on for 3 months, 6 months.
3 years.
3 years. Of course, I've worked with some people, and the longer they were there working, the worse they got at the job. And I don't know how that happens, but
it does.
It does. And maybe if that's you and you're listening to this, maybe it's time to rethink your career choices. Just saying. Chad, I've not actually sat and counted the years that I've known you, and the different projects we've worked on. I think you and I share a lot of good memories looking back where our paths have crossed. But you and I went into different directions, different companies, and at one point you decided you wanted to be married.
Yeah.
You're like, I think I want a partner in life. So at this point, you were getting married, and you asked me to officiate at your wedding, which maybe showed your how desperate you were to get somebody to run this wedding, but it also showed the connection you and I have had together, and I guess kind of the trust that you put in me, and you and your spouse, we met and talked and just developed a relationship there. And I know you think probably back to that day, and it's just a very awesome day, right?
It was great.
It was a
I love
great
every
day.
bit of it.
I know. It was a very nice wedding, beautiful wedding, and you married a very sweet lady, and I couldn't be happier for you. So thinking back around, maybe it happened on that wedding day, maybe it happened before or even after. Do you recall getting any advice that was helpful or not helpful, good or bad? I know some people love to give off the wall advice, and you never really know. I was just curious if you thought back.
No, I don't really remember getting anything like that. I mean, we were both, our past relationships, we kind of knew what we were looking for, and we met each other, and it just kind of, to be cliche, clicked.
No, that's great. And you know, sometimes we struggle through those to become the person that we need to be. You know, usually every week I will at least run into one former student that, I mean, after teaching for 13 and a half years, you've seen your fair share of teenagers, you know, graduate high school, go on to go to college and do all kinds of different things. And I love running into them. I usually at least run into one a week. And I love seeing how they progress through life, where they start a family, establish a career, or even have kids. I love to just take time to hear their story. And, you know, you're one of those early students that I had that I'm really glad to catch up with. So within the last year, you've added to your family since being married?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
What do you want to know exactly? There's a lot.
I would love to hear anything you're willing to say.
No, I mean, so my first child, he's my stepson, you would say, but
sure.
he's my son.
Yeah.
Like, he's no question.
Absolutely.
But adding to that, like, just having to worry about the jealousy with him and making all that work while having the baby like glued to your face, because that's what they do.
Yeah.
It was hard at first.
Was it?
And still hard now, trying to make a balance.
Yeah.
That's something I struggle with. Well, I wouldn't say daily, but definitely more often than I probably should.
Yeah. So are you finding a way to spend special time with the oldest?
Yeah, that's what he's 8, so he's super big into like Minecraft now, so I play with that with him from time to time, and he doesn't know it, but I'm working on setting up him a computer and a server so we can both play on that. And
wow.
So like I said, he doesn't know it.
Yeah.
But he'll be pretty stoked when it happens.
I won't tell you.
I hope not.
I won't tell you.
And then we've been camping once, but that was way back at probably the end of spring, first of summer, and then where it's been so hot, I just don't want to go outside.
I feel you.
So probably now that it's getting cooler, going into fall, we'll probably go camping more, because he was super excited about all that. Yeah. But probably take him somewhere that's not my mom's backyard.
Now, do you do like just a father-son type camping, or the whole family go, or what?
I would like for the whole family to go, but I don't think Laura's going to go camping.
Well, not a camper.
No.
Yeah. I see, like my wife and I'm the one that's more apt to be, she calls me Prissy, or the princess and the pea, because I got to have a comfortable bed and air conditioning.
Hey, air conditioning is
that's a
basic necessity.
Absolutely. I do enjoy camping. I do not enjoy getting eat up by bugs. No, I mean, taking time like that to spend just one-on time with him, let him know he's special, and I mean, that's tremendous. And I know as the other one grows up, they'll get where they're not as needy, but you'll still find time to spend, you know, quality time with them. Heck, I can take my youngest, we'll take them camping. By that, I mean, we'll leave them in the woods. Nah, just kidding. But I mean, really, we could do like
here's a jug of water.
Yeah.
And here's the candy bar. We'll be back in a week. You have a knife. Figure it out.
Yeah. Yes. No, it sounds like that'd be something neat to do. I know plenty of good parks if we wanted to do that, if you were truly interested. And if you're not,
camping or leaving the kids in the woods.
Camping, like legitimate camping. Like, we'll take the tent and build the fire, grill whatever we kill, or whatever's in the cooler.
Grill meat.
Either one. Yeah. Oh yeah, there'd be meat grilled straight up. Because to me, you know, camping, like trying to worry about my weight, but food's important on a camping trip. I can't get over that. I love breakfast and I love dinner over a campfire. So
yes.
Maybe that's something we can look at doing. So with all these changes you've talked about, you know, being married, making this family, you know, taking on, I guess what you were calling, quote unquote, a stepson, but really I've seen how he grows to, or just clings to you. You're his, no question. And I love that. As well as adding on to your family, and you know, you bought a new house recently.
Yeah.
How do you feel like those life changes have impacted you from going from a bachelor to a husband and then to a father?
I definitely feel like it's helped me grow into the person, or the, I guess you'd say, the man or husband or father that I am.
Yeah.
Still don't feel like I'm half that most of the time, but we're getting there.
Being aware of that is one thing, and and trying to improve on that. Sometimes, dads, I'm guilty as can be on this, is sticking my head in the ground and just, nope, we're going on like this, and this is how things are going to be, and thinking that's how you're supposed to be as a dad. You're supposed to be this tough person that says no to everything, and it's more freeing to be open and willing to think about things and grow more from it.
I'm definitely feel like I'm guilty of that every once in a while too, but
I'd say we all are, and I know I was really bad about it for a long time, and now it's like, man, I wish I could take that back, but I can't. But I'm able to change that and be more of who I want to be. So tell me a little bit about what you do from like a career perspective, work perspective, whatever you're willing to share.
Well, so I've had a few IT careers, you would say. I mean, of course, we worked at the school together.
Yeah.
And then I did the traveling, I guess you'd say, field tech work.
Yeah.
For about 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
The work wasn't hard, but the travel, that was a bit rough.
Yeah.
Just being gone weeks at a time. You're pretty much home on the weekend to wash clothes, and then you're back on the road for another week. Mm-hmm. But that company had its flaws, and it's where it is now, and which gave me the opportunity to come to where I work now. It's more in the healthcare field, which feels very rewarding.
Yeah.
I'm home every night, and I just feel like it's made a big I don't think impact's the big word, but better life.
Okay. Better life situation.
Yes, better life situation.
Oh, I get that.
And each one of those has had its own learning curve, and I've learned stuff from each job that I feel like it's made me the better IT professional that I am now.
Yeah. I do think, I'm just speaking from an IT perspective, I think it is important to work in like the business sector and then move into healthcare. I mean, coming from, government education, we'll call it that. You really kind of see how each of those worlds are different, how they can interact with each other. Being at the school system, the healthcare IT departments would donate stuff, whereas, the healthcare's got certain legal rules that they got to follow. But then when you jump over into the business side, things are usually, it's surprising, sometimes more tighter than the school, but willing to spend money on certain things. But the school system not willing to spend any money because it's school system. They get very little money for technology.
Right.
So you kind of see how all those intertwine and interconnect, and I feel like it does add to being better rounded at your career. That
was something I struggled with when I moved from the school system to work in the grocery store job. Was we have all this hardware that we're just getting rid of, and it's like, well, why are we getting rid of it? We could piece these things together and make one working machine.
Yeah.
Where that was a big school system problem where you had all these broken things.
Yeah.
And you piece them together to make one working computer for a teacher.
Yeah, make their life better. And it's tough to see that stuff like, no, we got to recycle it this way, and then you find out, oh, we're spending money to recycle that. Can't we donate it to the school?
No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. And so, that piece I think kind of hurts. I remember coming to terms with that, and as well, like what I got faced with was not really recycling like desktop hardware, but it was server hardware because, again, at the school system, resources are very limited. And so, like, when you move into a bigger corporate environment, it's like, well, I'll just recycle this into that. And then you find out, no, we don't recycle anything. If it's phased out of there, it's gone. Stack. Yeah. So, that is something to be cognitive of, but it helps you learn how that piece of the world works. So that time that you were traveling, you were starting your relationship with your wife now. Did all that traveling like impact your relationship any? Or
I felt like we struggled in places, and then at the same time it helped us grow because when I came home on the weekend, it's when we spend all the time together. So some weekends it felt like we had to cram a whole week's worth of stuff into the weekend, and sometimes we got to go off and go out of town for a couple days. I felt like it helped us because we had that time to like long to want to be back with each other. So yeah. It sucked. I definitely feel like it helped me grow, see things differently. Mm-hmm. I guess that's how you would say that.
No. it kind of just changed your view on everything. I mean, at the same time, I see what you're saying. It made you like really examine that relationship and realize how much she meant to you. And, just like, I guess it kind of helps instill those goals too. Like, okay, I'm going to be doing this for this long. That way, when I finally get done with this piece or season of my life, we're going to do this together.
Right.
We'll have that time together. So,
which we definitely had those conversations. It's like, this isn't going to be a permanent forever thing.
Yes, absolutely. I'm sure it did all the time.
It was one of those like, hey, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. And I guess now that, you've got 2 kids, and that I can't compare money to time with my children.
Right.
I've tried and I can't.
It's not.
And it makes me happy to hear that you've got a job that allows you to be home every day. That's phenomenal. Yes. So, you shared a little bit about your career, a little bit about some of your early education. What pulled you into IT exactly? Like, what really made it click in your head that goes, yes, this is it. This is this for me.
At first, it was like a happy place.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It was one of those like, people get enjoyment out of mowing the yard, taking care of their house and stuff. Me tinkering with computers and learning how all that works, just kind of like, it all came natural. And the more I learned, the more I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
It would drive me more and more and more and more.
Yeah. To learn. I can do this. What else can I do?
Right.
Yeah. I totally get that. I've been comparing like some of the pieces that I enjoy more to like a puzzle. It's if I can just figure out how to do this and make it where it's ready for production, and just that's something I've been comparing it to. I was on the phone with a lady. She wanted me to do like some consulting work, and I'd worked on it for her and come back, and it's not the information she wanted, but she was like, "Oh, I really appreciate that. What can I do for you?" I'm like, I enjoyed the puzzle. I got to do that, and so that's something I really take from that. So you said you jumped, you went from different companies, different environments. Was there any fear that you felt like you had going from one to the next to the other? You want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, like every time I would start a new job, even though it was IT, and everyone's like, "Hey, you're really good at it," I don't know why you're afraid or worried.
Yeah.
But I still went into the job thinking I was, dumb and didn't know what I was doing. Mm-hmm. And of course, after about a year or so, 100% comfortable.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's just a new job fear or just fear that I have in myself.
I mean, it could be some insecurities there. I mean, we all get those.
Yeah.
Especially about work. We start to question, how good am I really at this? And, at the same time, I want to go, were you being humble about yourself at any point?
I mean, there was definitely times where it was like, I was like, it's like, hey, if I don't know how to do this, I will learn.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, no, I've never worked grocery store IT before, but hey, I'll figure it out.
Absolutely.
Give me the chance and we'll make it work.
And I mean, you probably remember at the beginning of all this, I started talking about how you're always just willing to learn. And I think that makes the world, I mean, that's going to make the world a difference in any field. But the way that computer technology evolves and grows, you got to stay on top of it. No, you're not going to know everything, but are you willing to try to figure out that challenge when you're faced with it? And, it just sounds like you do that daily, no matter the job setting, the place, or the problem. So we're going to change gears a little bit.
Okay.
I appreciate you sharing some career background. I think it's nice to get to flush some of that out. And this is my impression, is that we kind of live in a day now as men that we can almost feel attacked for simply being a man. And I guess I want to kind of direct it to the word masculinity. Some people see masculinity as maybe a bad thing. So I've got a little note about masculinity that I've took from a book I recently read, and I'd love for you, before I share that, for you to kind of give me what's your thoughts on what masculinity means.
I mean, I feel like it's evolved from what it was thought of back in the day.
Sure.
Like 40s, 50s, 60s.
Absolutely.
I commend those men, I guess, because, they did what they had to do to survive. And I feel like nowadays it's not as rough.
Yeah.
But, I don't see myself as like a rough I guess I'm masculine, but at the same time, I don't feel like I'm that sort of masculine, if that makes any amount of sense.
You're
It's
not
like
the big, rugged Paul Bunyan type masculine.
no, like I've got a beard and my hair's long occasionally, but like
you drink beer.
I drink beer and liquor.
Sure.
And
you don't hit women.
No, I don't.
That's good. You're very respectful of all people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like knives and my new truck and
drive a truck
and going outside and
I think what you're saying there, I like the part about saying evolved, and I think yeah, absolutely, because we do have to evolve and become who we need to be. Because when I think back to, I mean, if we circle back to like World War II,
right,
the men that it took to win that war, the fathers that they were before they left, that really kind of influenced those children, and they become the men that they knew based on their fathers. And each one of those generations since then have kind of changed, and we can kind of see that depending on who's been their we'll say their mentor from a manly perspective, and I think that kind of influences that evolution that we've seen. And it also influences how boys become men and how they develop healthy male relationships. So this piece from this book I was reading, Masculinity as part of a man that equips him to survive as an individual, a clan, and a species. Without masculine energy, we would have all become extinct eons ago. Masculinity empowers a man to create and produce. It also empowers him to provide for and protect those that are important to him. These aspects of masculinity include strength, discipline, courage, passion, persistence, and integrity. Now, those right there, I think, are just powerful words. Strength, discipline, courage, passion, persistence, and integrity. There can be a mindset that really views masculinity as aggressive, destructive, and brutal.
Right.
And I loved where you hit on being evolved. I keep saying that, and I think that's where that kind of goes, because when you think back to like that male role model you've had in your life, or several, kind of depending on who you are in your life, the things I said, strength, discipline, courage, passion, persistence, and integrity. When you think of those men, do you feel like they fit? And no, you're not going to find one that fits all. If you do, you found the golden goose, but you'll find them where they fit into a lot of those categories. Does any of that come to mind?
Yeah, I mean, I've had multiple male influences or father figures or whatever you want to call it.
Male role models.
Male role models. There you go. In my life, like I've learned a lot of stuff from I've helped my dad since I was old enough to like help him. I guess I've been taking stuff apart and putting it back together. Even before that, with my grandfather. Yeah. And he's like my dad. He showed me all this. I wouldn't say like when I say technical, I don't mean like computer stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean just like how to fix things, how to fix the power in the house, or work on the air conditioner, or like, hey, my fridge is broken. Oh, it needs this board. Yeah. I'm not afraid to take it apart and put it back together.
Yeah. So they kind of help give you that bit of confidence. You can fix this. Right. We've already talked out. You're great with computers, networks, that type of stuff. But then, some people get sensitive. But then some people, kind of get intimidated by the microwave, or hanging pictures, or digging a ditch. Right. And, that those male role models help give that bit of confidence that allow, young men to grow into, I can do this. If I don't know how to do this, I can figure it out. Right. So, I like to talk out that piece about masculinity, and it sounds like you get that, you understand that, and I see you'll be sharing that with your children, so they can also kind of grow into that role. With all that said, what is something that you want your kids to know or remember, maybe that you taught them, or something about you as they become adults?
I'd like to just relay to them how to be good people. Yeah. Like, to be a good husband and a good father and just a good person. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't you see all these kids that are growing up now, and I don't think they're bad kids, but I don't know if they have the correct figures at home.
Sure.
They don't have the positive male influence, or
so it's hard to get mad at them, but you can kind of see like, you don't have these tools. You must be missing this. Maybe somebody sharing this with you. In your life. Yeah.
And I want my kids to, I mean, like I said, just be good people. Like, understand that, like, and I want them to see that in other people and be like, hey, maybe you didn't have this or see this when you were growing up.
Yeah.
Let me help you. I just want them to be kind to everybody, and not just a certain group of people or anything like that. I don't want them to. You know what I'm saying?
I do, and I mean, what's coming to my mind is some little quip or something online about, give the same respect to the CEO you do to the janitor.
Right.
And I equated that when I was in school. Be just as nice to your teacher or principal as you are the lunch lady.
Right.
And, well, that can go both ways because we won't spoiled by that lunch lady. But I think showing that same respect, regardless of someone's title or the role or whatever, or clique or group they're in, is very important. Just being level like that. I know you're a busy dad.
I feel like
you're a busy
things
father.
Don't stop.
Things don't stop. But with all that said, being busy, do you take quiet time or private time? Because it's very important to just, the word I guess I'm looking for is self-care. Do you take time like that just to chill out or relax or do something that you enjoy?
When I became a father and everything like that, I feel like I had to do a lot of growing up, for one thing. So it was like, okay, I can't play video games for 8 hours a day now.
I feel you.
It's like, do I want to? Of course I do. I don't want to as much as I used to now, but I want to with my son. And I feel like we'll maybe not play for 8 hours, but, a couple hours every now and then we'll do that. But I relish that time with my family as like my quiet time or self-care time. Because like I didn't have that for 3.5 years traveling everywhere.
Yeah.
I got to see him on FaceTime every night.
Yeah.
But it's not the same as being in the same room.
No.
So that's where my self-care is now. It's
got you.
Like I do the stuff that I like to do with my son, show him that, and when Brennan gets old enough, I'll show him the same things, and I'll teach him the things that I know and all that good stuff. And I relish in that as being my self-care. Knowing I can pass the stuff that I like, not just know how to fix the dryer, but like, hey, I'll teach you how to play this video game, or we can sit down and I'll show you how to play Magic, or, let's watch football or something.
Yeah.
That's my time.
That's great. And that's, I just kind of asked because some people don't realize they're not doing it. One thing I've started doing is soaking my feet in a hot bath. I like to go in my bedroom, run my hot bath, and I've got a tub for it, and I'll take it and sit in front of the TV and watch the show I want to watch. And just, soak my feet for 20 minutes. Just let me have 20 minutes to soak my feet. And that's kind of weird, I guess. Weird. But I've noticed like my feet getting dry, so I'm like, I'll do this, and it's been magical. But, you talked about spending some quiet time with your son, and that's like my oldest. I really enjoyed like taking him to the gun range. And I didn't, even though I shot a few times, it was really just relaxing, sitting there loading mags and handing them to him, and him, getting his target practice in. I enjoyed that. Well, that's all of our time for today. Chad, you're a good friend, and I'm honored to know you. I just want you to know that I believe you're a good, hardworking man, and I really appreciate who you are and the man you've become. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.